Hello? Still nothing. Let me click all the way out and try again. All right. Nope, none.
That's really bizarre. Yeah. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, I see my one speaker on yours because yeah, I just had a speaker on mine here.
Here, let me see if I can go to Bluetooth. Alrighty. What about now?
I can't hear you through the computer. I can hear you on the phone, but...
Okay, I can hear you through my computer now.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and you can
good.
hear me on the phone.
Shoot. Well, I mean, it says that my mic is working, like it's picking up on it. I can try some headphones.
Can you hear me now through the headphones?
No. I can only hear you through the phone. Can you still hear me through the computer? Okay.
Yeah, well now I can't hear you through my computer. So how about I speak to you through the phone and you speak through the computer. Will that work? No. All right.
Sorry about this.
All good.
Because we can hear you in the computer again?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Still can't hear you though, sadly. So yeah, if this works for you, this works for me.
Okay.
Okay. Oh shoot, there's kind of an echo now. Like I can hear myself through the phone. Okay, well, let's just try it like this. Wow. The volume down, I guess. Okay, so nice to meet you. Thanks for helping set this up, Mr. Wheeler, right? Kenneth?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So just reintroduce myself. I'm Jason Lawrence, psychologist, state of Colorado, all that good stuff. I think you've had to deal with these sort of court-ordered evaluations before.
This is the fourth one.
Okay, so then I won't go through all the spiel and stuff, explain. I think you probably know what's going on, but just one thing you should make sure you're aware of is that since this is a mental health evaluation for the court, I'm working for the court. Things we talk about are not necessarily confidential between us.
Yep.
So, if I ask you any questions you don't want to answer because of that, that is completely fine. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. In that case, I'll just jump right into it. They send me some records, but not a whole lot. What's your understanding of why they asked for this evaluation?
This is the fourth one. I'm not sure which reason. I believe it's because in one of my court dates, one of the lawyers in the Lindsay Flanagan said that I'm being prosecuted to show support for the Uvalde school shooter. And I told my lawyer, I was like, hey, I'm going to bring that up to the jury. And he's like, well, I'm going to file a competency evaluation. I was like, okay, whatever. This is the second time for this issue that I've stated this. But I don't know what he actually put in the motion to the court.
Okay. So, you said something about the Uvalde school shooting?
Yeah. Do you know why my lawyer motioned for a competency evaluation?
I do not. I just received the order, so I know I got something from the judge. I didn't even know it was your lawyer that asked for the motion.
Oh, yeah.
I know this is the menacing case, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as far as you know, you had some conversation about the Uvalde school shooting, and this prompted your lawyer to do something?
I guess. And this is the second time I've said that. The first time I said that, I had to take a competency evaluation. So when he asked, he's like, well, if you're on the stand, what are you going to say? I was like, I'm going to say the truth. I'm going to point at the DA and said, hey, that dude and his homie said that they're prosecuting me to show support for a school shooting. I'm going to put that to the jury so they know what type of people they're dealing with. And then bam, he's like, oh, I'm going to file a competency evaluation.
Well, I mean, when you say they're prosecuting you in order to show support for the Uvalde school shooting, like what do you mean? I don't understand the connection.
It's what they told me.
That they're showing support for the Uvalde school shooting?
Well, long story short, I've been talking shit to those guys. They've been talking shit to me. The judge called me a blue-eyed nigger. The prosecutor, Corey Dillon, called me a blue-eyed nigger. And so they've been talking all this shit, and I was like, yo, dude, as soon as I get to the jury, I'm going to tell them that's what they're saying. And so every little time I go in there, they're always talking shit to me. So I told my lawyer, and he's like, yeah, but that has no relevance on your case. I was like, yeah, but I can still mention it as relevant conduct.
Sure, it's like the proceedings, basically.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess I'll back up a little bit. What exactly is your case? I know there's a menacing charge, but like, what are they alleging you did?
Some people attacked me, spit on me, called me a blue-eyed nigger, and kept hitting me. And I grabbed my pocket knife in self-defense, and I held it to my chest, telling them to get the fuck away from me. But the thing is, some cop told them to do it, and that they'd get away with it, and he's the one who arrested me.
So there were some people messing with you, including a cop, and that's the one who arrested you?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. There may not be an answer to this, but why were they messing with you?
I'm blue-eyed. They called me a blue-eyed nigger. They don't like blue-eyed white people.
Okay. So okay. I wasn't sure if it was something specific as in you personally or just something about they're just being racist, basically.
Could have been both, but at the very least, racist.
Okay. Okay. I mean, was there potential reason? Like, did they know you personally?
No, I did not know those people.
Okay. Okay. So about when did this occur?
A year and a half ago? August 2021, I think.
Okay. So, like, what happened? So you got arrested. They brought you to jail. You've been out on. Did you get out on bond?
Yep.
Pretty quickly, or?
Yeah.
Okay. How long were you in the jail?
I waited to see the judge, and then later that night I was out on bond.
Okay. And so, you said you've had 4 of these, like, competency evaluations done. Are they all for this case, or is this, like, prior stuff?
This is I think at least second one for this case. Or it might be the third, I'm not sure.
Do you have, like, a mental health history that, like, prompted these?
No, not that I know of. I mean, well, here's the thing. I get an argument with a lawyer, they file a competency evaluation. And then they say, oh, you have a history of this. It's them pulling their bullshit.
That's it. Oh, I guess it's since we're on the topic. Oh.
I'm here. I'm just grabbing a shirt.
Oh, okay.
It's a little cold.
Yeah, good. No worries. So are you currently prescribed any medications
No.
for health reasons, something like that? Okay.
No
Have you
medication.
ever been prescribed medications for mental health reasons?
Once, back in 2004 or 5, I think. And then I got sent to CMHIP, and they took it off. Or actually, I wasn't even taking it. Well, I took it for like a week or two, and then they didn't even re-prescribe it. And the doctor who prescribed it, I think he lost his license.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was back in the early 2000s.
Gotcha.
Like 15 years ago.
Okay. Then I mean, it sounds like it wasn't necessary, but what was that for?
I believe it was Respiridol, and it was for paranoia, depression, anxiety, and PTSD.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You were last did one of these evaluations for this case. How long ago was that?
I'm not sure. Could have been last year. No, actually, I know it was last year.
Okay. And what happened with that one? Like, did they think you were competent? Did they think you were not?
One of them, well, this is the fourth one. The third one, I was found incompetent to proceed and had to go through restoration of competency classes, which were a half hour once a week
Okay.
for about 12 weeks.
Okay. And they did that for 12 weeks, and then they were like, seems like you're good to go?
Yep.
Oh. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but to be clear, they didn't prescribe any meds for that? They didn't
No.
give you anything? Okay. Okay. I guess that brings us to here, pretty much. I guess, what have you been, just so I know contextually, like what have you been doing sort of with your time while you've been on bond? It's been going on a while. I imagine this has been kind of stressful.
I've had off and on gigs. It's really hard to get a job with a pending felony case. The background check doesn't work out, and so I just do gigs. I work with a temp agency, and I also do, what do you call that? Signature petition collecting, which I've been doing for off and on my whole life. Canvassing.
Okay. Are you currently like living on your own? Do you
Yes.
have roommates?
I have no roommates. I live on my own. I lived in the same apartment since December 2016. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and this is 23, so we're going on the 7th year.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah, so you've just been doing
Prior
what
to
you can.
COVID, I graduated top of my class from Secure Set Cyber Academy. And then COVID hit, and then the George Floyd protest happened. I got a curfew violation, and then they dropped that. Then they charged me with a felony assault on a peace officer. Then they dropped that. Then they refiled it as misdemeanor assault. And then I got this case for being blue-eyed.
Mhm. Okay. And so, and it sounds like that. It sounds like the people who were kind of attacking you, they were attacking you for that reason, and not only that, but like the judge in your case, it kind of seems like everyone in the legal process for you seems to have something against you with that, like being blue-eyed.
The judge in the felony case, the judge in the misdemeanor case, Judge Spawn, I actually asked her about that, and she says no. She's not one of them, because I brought it up to her that Corey Dillon and Adam Espinoza had been mentioning my eye color in a derogatory manner. And she's like, yeah, I know, Mr. Wheeler, but I'm not like that. And I was like, all right.
Okay. So some judges have been okay to you, but your judge in this menacing case is definitely not been.
Yeah, completely. He's been a real piece of shit in my mind. A terrorist.
Yeah. And then you mentioned that, like, you know, you've been personally talking back and forth with a couple of them, like, and that's when they've been saying these things to you. Like, how long has this been going on? The whole time?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And they're the ones who told you that, like, the prosecutor said, we're going to come after you because of the Uvalde school shooting?
It was a group of them, all right, because they all work in the same building. I don't know the name of the exact dude, but he made a little display of it, and I was like, hey, fuck you, dude. And there were people in the hallway who heard that, and like, what the fuck is that? And, you know, yeah. And then they postponed the case a whole bunch, hoping that they could sweep it under the rug.
They say this, like, in court, or is this just something you overheard somewhere?
No, they said it to me in the hallway, outside of the courtroom, but inside of the courthouse building.
Okay. So, your lawyer's response to all this, though, is saying, like, listen, that whether they said that or not, that's not really going to play out for your menacing charge.
Yeah, he has said
That's
that.
your lawyer's perspective.
Mhm.
Okay. So, I guess let's play that out first for a second, this evaluation. So, assuming you went ahead with the lawyer and just didn't bring all that stuff up, like, what do you expect will happen with this menacing case?
Well, I'm hoping the jury will side with me.
Okay.
To understand that, you know, I was assaulted. They did call me a blue-eyed nigger. They did spit on me. It was encouraged by a fucking pig. And, you know, throughout this legal process, they have been calling me blue-eyed nigger and basically, how should I say, antagonizing me in a negative, derogatory manner, and even stating support for the death of American children, just to get a response from me so they can do things like this, call me incompetent. And then not only that, they could always just say, oh, that didn't happen, he's crazy, or they can just say, well, that's irrelevant, that has nothing to do with this case. But in my mind it does, because they said it did.
Right. It has to do with this case. The Uvalde part has to do with this case where they said it, and the kind of assault and bias against you is really your defense for the allegations. It's, hey, they were attacking you because
Yes.
they some kind of bias. Let's put it that way, I guess.
Yeah.
For now. Okay. Okay. So while we were talking, I was like, no, because they sent me some records, so I do have like the police version of events. Like, what is their version of what happened? Like, why are they arresting you? Are they saying that you unprovoked threatened somebody? Is that their version?
I guess. But on the video, you can actually see me being repeatedly assaulted.
Okay. So there's a video to help you. Would that be part of your evidence?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds right. Okay. So, was this felony menacing, or was this misdemeanor?
It's felony.
So, you've been through this before, you probably heard this question. In a worst case scenario, what could you be facing if you're found guilty of this?
I think 2 years in prison. Or a year and a half. I think it's a year and a half.
Do you think that that's likely in your case, or do you feel like that's probably not going to happen?
I don't think it'll happen. I'm more worried about the lawyer fucking me over with jury instructions. I don't consent to jury instructions.
Okay, tell me about that. What do you mean?
Well, here's the thing. To be charged with a crime is one thing. To be found guilty is totally irrelevant to the charge. A jury instruction, the judge can put in there and order the jury, instruct the jury. If the prosecutor presented a witness that state they felt menaced, you must find the defendant guilty. But even though I have an affirmative defense of self-defense, the judge can nullify my affirmative defense with a jury instruction. And he already said he's going to do that and called me a blue-eyed nigger.
You're pretty worried that they're pretty much just going to set this up against you in the end.
Well, they already told me they will.
Yeah. Well, so you have pretty good reason to think that. Yeah. Okay.
I would prefer a change of venue and a change of jurisdiction. I would prefer either it goes to the feds or I get prosecuted in Texas because of their activity. Yeah, because they have brought up on more than one occasion the Uvalde school shooting. And so I brought up to the judge, I was like, well, hey, I want to change a venue. I want this in Texas because that guy right there said he supports the Uvalde school shooting. And I don't think a jury in Texas will find me guilty from a prosecutor who was saying that shit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, you might not have answers to this, so I'm sorry I keep harping on it, but like, do you know any idea why they keep bringing up the Uvalde school shooting? This seems so unrelated to anything that's going on, you know?
Just to basically get a rouse out of me, one of them said emotional response, and I was like, dude, that's fucked up, yo. And and I think it's to do shit like this, to say, oh, look, he thinks we're prosecuting him to show support for the Uvalde school shooting because one of the prosecutors or one of the lawyers in the Lindsay Flanagan said that, but it could have been a joke, so now he's taking this joke way too far. And I'm like, no, nobody jokes like that in America. That's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree, because that seems really fucking weird. Like, what a strange thing to say.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not on recording, so it's basically my word versus theirs, and so here I am in a competency evaluation because I keep bringing it up saying, hey, they said that to me, I'm not letting it go.
And so then, have you had this experience a lot of there being people biased against you, like you said, calling you a blue-eyed nigger and this type of stuff? Has that happened before, or is that just this?
Yes, it has. It happened in a federal case with Judge William J. Martinez, and that case was vacated by the circuit court. Then the government appealed it to the United States Supreme Court, and the United States Supreme Court ruled in my favor.
Oh. Okay. So your last case, maybe not your last one, but that case got appealed up to the Supreme Court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What case was that? I mean, what was going on then? Pretty serious.
An FBI agent hacked my Facebook in Rome, Italy, while I was not in Rome, Italy, and put a comment saying that people need to go shoot up schools and blow up government buildings. And when I get back to America, I get arrested for it, and I have no idea what's going on. It took me 6 to 8 months even to get a discovery, because I had to go through competency evaluations because I called my lawyer a piece of shit and a fucking retard. And I think his name was Stephen Lesh. I don't remember. Ultimately, I got to fire him. They assigned me a new lawyer who didn't give a fuck, sat there, did nothing. And then I was found guilty based upon jury instructions that were ultimately no longer legal due to the Supreme Court ruling. And so that's why I don't trust the jury instructions, because to be prosecuted for a threat, you have to commit a threat. To be convicted of a threat at the time, the jury instructions basically instructed the jury, if the prosecutor presents a witness stating they felt threatened, you must find the defendant guilty. So all they did was have witnesses go on the stand saying that they felt threatened. And these witnesses I didn't even know. They just allegedly saw the Facebook comment that was posted in Rome, Italy.
Okay. So that they were charging you with a threat based on the Facebook comment. That's what the charge was?
Yep.
Okay. But the threat itself actually came from an FBI agent who attacked your laptop.
And there was no threat. The Supreme Court and the Circuit Court ruled there was no threat. But I was found guilty based upon jury instructions.
What was the alleged Facebook comment? Like,
I never got to actually see it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Allegedly, it was a comment stating that people, not me, it didn't say I was going, there was no I declarative statement. It was just a comment saying that people needed to go into schools and government buildings and blow them up.
Okay. So needless to say, after that experience, you're pretty skeptical of the court system in general.
Completely. I mean, let me put it like this. Every felony charge, the judge has called me a blue-eyed nigger.
Mm-hmm.
From Brian Flynn to William J. Martinez to Adam Espinoza.
Yeah. That's a rough spot to be in then.
Yeah, and so that's why when I go to a jury trial, I want to request an all blue-eyed jury. If that's even possible.
Yeah, I know I'd see the cops going out. That'd probably be difficult, I'm sure, but...
Yeah.
Why was the FBI hacking your computer? Like, why was that going on?
Long story short, it was Kurt Geiger. I went to church with Kurt Geiger and his family, Seventh-day Adventist Church in Grand Junction, Colorado. I knew him for a couple of years. His cousins, Josh, Jacob, and Jeremiah, I think. They all had J names. And they were all, Bible names? Joshua, Jacob, Jeremiah. And so, Kirk was a janitor. All right, and he actually scrubbed toilets for a living. And so he would talk shit to his cousins. They didn't get along too much, and I was good friends with one of them, and all right friends with the other two. And so he would talk shit to me, and I remember his cousins were like, "Dude, just tell him to go scrub a toilet." I was like, "What?" And like, "Yeah, that's his job. He fucking cleans shit for a living." And I was like, "Don't talk shit. Go clean it." And That went on for like 3 years, and then he goes and becomes an FBI agent. And then when he comes back from Quantico, Virginia, where the FBI training facility is, all he did was like, yo, dude, one of these days, I'm going to get you, motherfucker. I am going to fucking set you up, and I'm going to get you. So he hacked my Facebook page in December with the same exact comment, but he left the geo-tracking tag on, and it stated it came from the federal building on Rood Avenue. Yeah, and so the FBI showed up, and they weren't concerned with the comment because they're like, yeah, there's no actual threat in the comment. We don't give a fuck. We just want to know how they got through the firewall to get to Facebook, because you're not supposed to be able to access Facebook through those federal computers. It's a security risk. So, what was it, like 2 months later, I leave the country, and then bam! The same exact comment, copy and paste, word for word, even the misspelling of certain words were put on there. And they're saying that once I was in international theater, whatever, crossed international boundaries, I'm responsible for what's ever posted on my Facebook comment. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, not only that, there's no Italian stamp in my passport. And then I went through the bullshit. It took me 1.5 years to go to trial. The judge, William J. Martinez, just kept calling me a blue-eyed nigger. The prosecutor did the same. Her name was Michelle Heldmeyer. And here I am.
Okay. So, pretty much your situation where there's a guy who had a bit of a vendetta against you. And so he set this up with the Facebook thing, the FBI stuff.
And not only that, after I won my appeal, he confessed to it.
Did he really?
Yeah. Yep. Completely.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, you can call him up and ask. I don't know if he's still an FBI agent, but you can probably find him on Facebook or wherever the fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Alright, so do you have any concern? I know we've been talking about, kind of the bias against you that a lot of these judges have been showing. Do you have any concern that you're being personally targeted by these people for other reasons? Like if something about something you did, something like that?
Always. Not just my every little thing. Ever since that Facebook comment, every cop, judge, lawyer, and politician has been out to get me because that Facebook comment said that they all needed to be killed. So they're not acknowledging it was made by an FBI agent. They're just targeting me because they're pieces of shit.
So that's the other aspect of this, potentially, that you're continually being targeted because of that Facebook post. People thinking that, you shouldn't have said that, blah, 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 even though really you didn't even write it.
Yep.
Okay. Good. So, your lawyer in your current case, who's your current lawyer?
I believe his name is Christopher Smallwood.
Okay. How is he?
Eh.
Yeah. I know it's pretty annoying that he asked for this eval and whatever, but I mean,
and I believe it's the second one.
Like doing okay?
Well, in one of my virtual appearances, I asked, or I stated due diligence that needs to be committed, and he asked the judge, what's due diligence? And then the judge replied, a lawyer asking what's due diligence? How do I not find inadequate assistance of counsel? Ineffective assistance of counsel. And so he has basically told me he's going to sit there and do nothing, and I can fire him. And I'm like, no, you can get off your ass and do your job. So I need to write a letter and submit it to wherever you report lawyers to, and just send that letter to everywhere I can so everybody knows what's going on. Which is probably what I'll be doing this weekend.
Seems pretty ineffective is the right word to describe that, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'd like to shift gears a little bit then, from the legal stuff. We've talked a lot about that. I just want to ask, like, some personal background questions. Again, it's just to get a context for my evaluation. If I ask anything too personal, you don't have to answer it. But are you born and raised in Colorado?
I'm not born in Colorado. I've been in Colorado since I think 92 or 93.
Okay.
30 years.
Okay. Where were you born? Don't mind me asking.
My birth certificate says Glendora, California.
Is your birth certificate accurate, or is that?
I guess. I always say that because the way I look at it is, I ask people, it's like, how do you know where you're born? You're just trusting what other people tell you.
That's it.
Yeah, so yeah, Glendora, California, East LA County.
Okay. That's so. In other words, as far as you're aware, that's where you were born.
Yep.
Okay. When were you raised in California until you came to Colorado, or?
No, I was in California until I think about 6 or 7, and then I was in Las Vegas, Nevada until we moved to Colorado.
Okay. And who was primarily raising you, like mother and father? Or?
In California, it was both. When I left California, it was my mother.
As far as you're aware, were there any complications with your birth?
Nope.
Okay. Did you experience any developmental delays?
Nope. I took advanced placement classes from childhood to adulthood.
Okay. Okay. Did you experience any abuse as a child? Physical, sexual?
I guess physical abuse. My mother was not afraid to smack a kid, any of us.
Okay.
And I think that's normal, especially in the 80s, that was normal. Nowadays, they say it's abuse.
Okay. So do you, subjectively, in your opinion, do you feel like you were abused as a child?
Ish. Sometimes, yes or no.
Ish.
Okay. Melanie was predominantly a piece of shit.
I assume that's your mom's name?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not had contact with them since the early 2000s.
How was school for you? Like, any special
Easy.
education, anything like that?
Say that again?
In school, did you receive any special education services?
Advanced placement classes.
The advanced placement, okay. Did you have any behavioral problems, like getting kicked out of school for fights, that kind of shit?
On occasion I did. I have quite a mouth, and I'm not afraid to back it up with my backhand. So I think there were 2 or 3 times I was suspended for fighting.
And did you graduate high school?
No, actually I did not.
Okay. How far along in high school did you
All
go?
4 years.
Okay.
Well, I actually went back a 5th year to try to, because I was a few credits shy. How do I put this? I attended Montrose High School, and one of the years they had this thing that if you had more than 3 unexcused absences, you lost credit. You got no grade or an F or withdraw fail. So yeah, it was only 1 year, because after that year it screwed over so many people because they just had 4 unexcused absences, and even if you showed up like 5 minutes late to class, it counted as an unexcused absence. So you could show up 7 minutes into class, and that was counted as an unexcused absence. You do that 3 more times throughout the entire year, withdraw, fail, no credit.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay.
So ultimately, I got a GED and went to college.
Okay. What did you go to college for?
First time I went to college was for physics and chemistry. The second time I went for fine art and education.
Okay.
I'm roughly 3 semesters to 4 semesters from getting a BFA in fine art and education.
Okay.
And then just recently, I went to Secure Set Cyber Academy and graduated top of my class.
What cyber academy?
Secure Set.
Okay.
SECURESET. It is now called Flatiron
Okay.
because Flatiron bought it.
It is a academy for what? Like, what were you learning there?
Cybersecurity.
Okay. That's what I had. That's what I would guess, but didn't want to assume. That's good. So what is some stuff you've primarily done for work over your adult life?
Well, when I was younger, I actually used to sell paintings. My house is covered in about 30 paintings I did.
Yeah.
And that was when I was younger. As an adult, I've had numerous jobs. I worked in a laundry facility for a couple of years. And then I went to school. And then I got sent to prison. And then when I got out of prison, I did odd and end jobs. I was an automotive technician at Sears. And I did the art thing, sold some art. Then what do you call that? Got hemmed up by the feds for a Facebook comment I didn't make. Spent 40 months being locked up. Got released. Got sent here to Denver. I did not want to move to Denver. But federal law states that if you leave federal prison homeless, you have to go to the city that you were sentenced in. And so, yeah, so I had to go back to Denver, homeless, and I'm not from here. So then I got, ultimately I got a job at a place called Larimer Square at a fancy craft cocktail lounge. I made minimum wage for like 2 years. Got fired for my eye color, and then got a job at the dollar store, which I thought was a godsend. I mean, I was making minimum wage no matter what, so the dollar store was way easier. And then from there, I just got better jobs. I got another canvassing job, which I've been doing those jobs my whole life since I was a child. So ever since I was like 14, I've done petition, flyers, all that stuff. And then in 2000, I think 17 or 18, I got a scooter job, which was the easiest, best job I've ever had in Denver. I made easily $50 an hour. I only worked 2 hours a day, and all I had to do was ride scooters. And then COVID hits, and everything took a shit. So I did the unemployment thing, and then when that ran out, went back to canvassing and what do you call that? Day labor, gig jobs, temporary jobs.
Alright. So no, you already mentioned that you don't have a history of, other than what you mentioned already, of really mental health diagnoses or medications or anything like that.
Nope.
Do you have any medical history I should know about? You know, serious head injuries, medical conditions?
Oh, dude. Okay, so like 2.5 years ago, I think it was June 20th, 2020, or June 21st, 2020. It was a Sunday. I almost died. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. You can see this.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, I got my wrist slit open and ran over 5 times.
shit.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Had to go through 6 months of physical therapy, and every day I have to do hour-long hand exercises.
I mean, was this the result of an attack? Like,
Yes.
people attacked you, dudes? Okay. May I ask what happened?
Sure, it was a whole bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
I filed reports with the FBI and other people. They say I'm not in any trouble. And they say I actually used use of deadly force in self-defense. It was all on camera. And, some people had been following me for about 2.5 years. They just didn't like me. And then on that day, they struck. I was picking up trash at the skate park. Some cop wearing a white privilege t-shirt comes up, calls me a blue-eyed nigger, and smashes me in the face with a brown whiskey bottle, all on camera, So that got into a huge brawl, and then I started getting pelted with rocks. Then I grabbed my pocket knife and I started to defend myself, and then an explosion happened. I got taken to the ground. This girl came over my right shoulder with a razor blade saying, "This is how Jesus got crucified, this is how you're getting crucified." And just slit my wrist open to the bone. I grabbed the blade and I got her also in self-defense. I got up, I fought some people off. I tried crossing the street, walked right into traffic, got ran over 5 times, ultimately woke up in the hospital.
Who were these people?
No clue.
Okay.
I called the FBI, I asked if I needed to turn myself in. They're like, "No, you got self-defense."
Yeah.
But I don't remember the FBI agent who I spoke to, and I know that every one of these competency evaluations, it has been brought up, and they asked me if I know the agent's name, and I was like, "No, you all can do due diligence and contact the FBI if you want to know."
Sure. Makes sense to me. I wouldn't even know how to contact the FBI, honestly.
You can call them.
Like, you just Google that? I'm a
Yeah.
psychologist, I don't know say shit.
I did Google Maps and found the phone number on Google Maps. And there's also, you can also Google it, go to fbi.gov. And there's a national number, and then you have your local numbers for your local FBI.
Oh, no, okay. I mean, that makes sense. I've never really thought about it. Like, I just Google the FBI. They'll just give me a number I can call. So, okay. Why did you contact the FBI about this as opposed to, like, 911 or the other cops? Like, were you concerned the FBI was coming at you?
No. A cop hit me in the face with a brown whiskey
Right.
bottle. So the cops already knew. And not only that, I spoke to the police in the hospital. And,
Okay. You already talked to them.
yeah, and basically, like, they didn't give a fuck. They're like, "Whatever, go fuck yourself," because it was a cop who started it, so they're obviously going to take the sides of the pigs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, clearly that's very serious. Other than that, do you have any like current medical conditions? You know, probably like diabetes, cancer, stuff.
No, I had childhood asthma. I grew out of it. And I'm left-handed, so I had to learn to use my right hand now.
Yeah. How about substance use history?
Marijuana,
curb
alcohol,
marijuana?
but I don't do it anymore. I quit for the new year. I do that off and on, I'll just like quit for like half a year to a year.
Was there ever a period of time in which you were concerned about your alcohol and marijuana use that in retrospect you feel like you were using too much and that could a problem?
None actually. When I actually think about it, even though, like, let's say I would go out and prior to COVID, this is all prior to COVID, I used to go to concerts and events almost every day, if not every other day, because they had a whole bunch of, what do you call those, apps, and like I would purchase an app on my phone that would allow me free entry into concerts and other events. And so, you know, I'd have a couple drinks, and I remember making a comment to the judge that I thought I was drinking more. And then when the judge asked me about it, I was like, well, actually, once you're talking about it, I actually drink less. Because I don't go out, I don't drink as much. I just, how should I say, during COVID, I was drinking by myself. Or I was drinking virtually in like a YouTube stream with other people, and we were all drinking. So I considered that more, but then when we had a discussion, I realized, wow, I've actually cut back my drinking significantly because I'm not out there being a part of reality.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Was there ever a period in which you were, you know, experimenting with or trying like other drugs, like methamphetamine, heroin?
I have tried methamphetamine a couple of times, LSD, mushrooms. The meth or cocaine, I'm not a fan of. I think that's bleh. I don't want to be around those people. I don't want those people around me. And you know, going to a fucking light rail station or riding the light rail is always shitty because you always got to deal with those motherfuckers.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, gotcha. So then when, just to make sure I got it, when you say like a couple of times for methamphetamine, you mean literally like 2 or 3, or you mean more like...
No, off and on a couple of times. I think the first time I tried it, I was probably 14. Then I tried it again when I was 17, and that lasted maybe about a month or two, but not every day. It was just around me. And that was only when I was 17. And then when I was 17, I was like, you want to know what? Get this shit away from me. And ever since I was 18, I couldn't stand any of that shit. I don't want meth heads or any of the crackheads near me.
So then, in terms of, you know, within the last few years or so, it sounds like you have occasionally been using like marijuana, alcohol, and also experimented a bit with LSD and mushrooms, you know, here and there.
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
pretty accurate? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of that in Denver, because I don't know where you're at. Denver, you know, the mushrooms are legal, or decriminalized. They're decriminalized, and the
I did hear about that, yeah.
and the wellness centers will be up and running in a month or two. So yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah.
You know, personal use with personal responsibility. That's what's needed.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this pretty much just leads up into the present. You know, then your last competency eval thing you had to deal with was last year, and you had to take those classes, whatever, for 12 weeks. And so then did someone like me meet with you again at the end of that and say that you were good to go now?
It was the same lady, I believe it was the same lady who did the competency evaluation, who did the competency classes, restoration classes. And at the end of those classes, she motioned to the court that I was competent to proceed.
Okay. I don't suppose you remember the name of this person. I may want to, you know.
No, I don't.
No. Was it, maybe you might recognize it, if you don't, it's fine. Was it a Megan Lamb?
Could have been, Dr. Lamb. Could have been. That was one of them. I don't know if that was the one who did the restoration classes.
Sure, of course. Just trying to make sure, you know who to email to get my records, etc. That's all the standard procedure with these things. Okay. And so, I guess, yeah, how have you been recently then? I mean, it's all a pretty serious situation. You've been depressed, anxious, any problems like that?
Sometimes. I don't understand how I could be prosecuted for this, besides the fact they're targeting me for my eye color. And, I'm tired of this shit. I would prefer that they just get nuked and sent off to World War III or the Wagner Group. I don't give a fuck what's going on in their head, and they can eat shit and die. They want to talk shit about my eye color? Fuck them, dude. Exterminate them. I would rather a nuclear bomb go off instead of dealing with 1 day of incarceration. I would not complain if somebody committed any act against them or anything about them.
Okay.
I'm completely done with them calling me a criminal. Whenever anybody calls me a criminal, Judge Brian Flynn told me that they're actually calling me a blue-eyed nigger. So when people call me a criminal, in my mind, I'm just hearing that they're calling me a blue-eyed nigger, and I'm done with that shit.
So then I want to make sure then, have the judge and those other people, have they been calling you the words blue-eyed nigger, or have they been calling you criminal, which you know to mean blue-eyed nigger?
Both.
Both. Okay.
And I even brought it up to him, and I was like, hey, you know, we've had this conversation numerous times, that when you're calling me a criminal, I'm hearing you call me a blue-eyed nigger, and they're like, yeah, that's right, Mr. Wheeler, I know that. I was like, all right.
Okay. But they have actually called you that, too?
Yes. Adam Espinoza has actually called me a blue-eyed nigger. Corey Dillon called me a blue-eyed nigger. And when I brought it up to the judge was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'll just contact whoever I can.
Okay.
So that's why I believe I should have, the judge should be blue-eyed, the prosecutor should be blue-eyed, and the jury should be blue-eyed.
Mm-hmm. So, have you been eating okay, sleeping, like recently? Eating okay, sleeping okay?
Eating okay, yeah. Sleeping, not really. The month of January, I have been waking up covered in sweat. My sheets and pillow just soaking wet in sweat. I leave my bedroom window open, and it'll be like freezing or below freezing, and I'm still covered in sweat. I'll walk out onto my patio into the freezing cold, and I barely feel a breeze. I check my temperature, and I'm at like 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And so, yeah, that's been the past month. Last night I didn't get any sleep very much. I don't know why. I ate some food around 8 o'clock or earlier, and then around 10 o'clock it gave me diarrhea. And so I was going to the bathroom off and on for hours.
Okay. Gotcha. Have you been having, like, nightmares or stuff like that?
I have had several nightmares pertaining to the Uvalde school shooting. But besides that, no.
Have you been having those nightmares because of what's been going on with your legal case, or is it other stuff?
Predominantly the legal case.
Okay. So, like, before they started saying shit about apparently they're charging you because of the Uvalde school shooting, you had nothing to do with the Uvalde school shooting or anything related to it. Is that right?
I have nothing to do with the death of those children.
Yeah, and watch the ring back. And that wasn't because you're responsible for it, but I mean, like, me, I wasn't related to that incident in any way until we had this conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know anyone, nothing. Is that accurate for you, or did you have some kind of connection with that event beforehand?
I found out some information and I reported the information.
Okay. May I ask, like, what information are you talking about?
This is what I stated. I even went into the federal building a couple blocks away and reported it. I mailed 2 letters, one letter to the head FBI agent in Texas and one to the head federal judge in Texas. And then I called the Robb Elementary School principal and left a voicemail from the, let me find the federal building's name. The same one I was prosecuted in. It's 2 blocks away. We're only separated by a block in between. The Alfred A. Araj United States Courthouse. And I informed them that I believe that there was a planned terrorist attack at the Robb Elementary School. The assailant is a Hispanic male, late teens, early 20s, does not live alone, lives with family, recently acquired an assault rifle, recently lost their job, may have once attended the school, may have a relative attending or working there, and has the same last name of somebody who either attends or works there. And the judge put an all-point bulletin on me, so I couldn't even go there to try to stop it.
This was something that you told them about before the Uvalde school shooting?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So you had some information to believe that this might be happening, this might be coming, and you tried to warn them.
I did warn them.
Well, yeah.
And I even told the judge, I was like, Your Honor, don't drop the ball. Because he wanted to have me arrested, because we went off at each other for an hour. We were using profanities and racial slurs, and the courtroom was filled with like 100 cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And so then, after it happened, that's when that punk-ass lawyer said that, oh, we're going to prosecute you to show support for that. And I was like, fuck you, dude. And so, here I am taking the competency evaluation.
How did you come into information that the Uvalde school shooting was pending like that?
What if I don't want to talk about that?
That's fine.
Okay. I'd rather not answer that question.
That's fair. Can I ask this very broadly speaking?
Ask any questions you want.
What's that?
Ask any question you want.
Okay, I appreciate it. And you just tell me no one answer any question I have. But I mean, just broadly speaking, do you have connections with like very high-powered people where you can get this information from, or is it more like computer skills, like you said, and you're doing this in cybersecurity, like, or was it just personal information?
Personal information.
Okay.
Which I reported as I'm supposed to do as a good person, as a law-abiding American. So if anybody comes across... So here's the thing. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. I reported James Holmes to the federal government before he committed the massacre in the movie theater. Yeah, so there's a history of me going to the government and reporting shit, the government calling me a blue-eyed nigger, and just letting it happen. So yeah, I reported James Holmes to, Magistrate Rice, a federal judge. I reported it when, this was during my federal case, all right? And that's one of the reasons I had to take a competency evaluation in the federal case, because the prosecutor said that if I'm competent enough to report that information, I should be competent enough to hold that information for a plea bargain. I called her a piece of shit, and I was like, no, that's not something you hold for a plea bargain. That's something you just go out and tell the government. Yeah. So I told them that there's some dude by the name of James Holmes plotting on committing a massacre, an active shooting at the Century 16 movie theater, 2012, Friday, July 20th, at the midnight showing of Batman Dark Knight Rises. And it will occur at the Century 16 movie theater in Colorado, and that James Holmes is a neuroscience student. And I even told him the truth. I got that information from an iPad I stole. And then when I saw the information in the iPad, I put the iPad back because I didn't want to get caught with it. Yeah, and I repeated that to the federal judge, the federal prosecutor, even during my interrogation. So FBI, Homeland Security, and U.S. Marshals. And then I informed Grand Junction City Police, Mesa County Sheriff's deputies. God, what is your fucking name? I think it was Judge Larson. In court in Grand Junction, Colorado, I even told Judge Larson, I actually had to stand up in court and call everybody profanities and racial slurs. I had to get up and say, listen, you stupid fucking niggers. James Holmes is plotting on committing a massacre. And I told him everything, you know, Century 16, neuroscience student, Batman Dark Knight Rises. And they just blew it off and didn't give a fuck. They just totally ignored me.
Sure enough, it happened.
Yeah, you know, so there is a history. I have a history of reporting things before it happens, and the government has a history of dropping the ball and letting innocent American children die. And now I'm being prosecuted again.
Sometimes people in really stressful situations, you know, do things or have thoughts they normally wouldn't. Have you been having any thoughts of wanting to harm yourself?
No, I have no thoughts on harming myself. I have no thoughts on harming others. I am normally, honestly, dude, I haven't been doing it recently a lot, but I'll go to tips.fbi.gov, whitehouse.gov, cia.gov, and I used to send them emails at least once a week. Anybody I didn't like, anybody I saw them doing something I didn't agree with, bam, I reported them.
Do you ever find yourself hearing or seeing things other people don't hear or see?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Sometimes with these evaluations, it's good for us to talk to, you know, third parties, people who, you know you but aren't related to the court or you yourself. Is there anyone, like, in your personal life you feel comfortable with me talking to you about how you've been?
I have nobody. I honestly, truly have nobody. Anybody who gets involved in my life is targeted by the government. And so I have nobody. There's absolutely nobody in my life that I would ever call a friend, a confidant, any of that. Nobody. Nobody in my life. I mean, actually, I'll tell you this. One of my POs, her name was Laura Ansart. We used to talk shit to each other. We never really got along. And I told her, I was like, hey, you want to know what? From here on out, I'm always going to use you as a reference. And she's like, why? I don't even like you, and all we do is talk shit to each other. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You have to answer truthfully as to the conduct of my character, not to my convictions. And she's like, yeah, that's right. I was like, yep. So if you want, you can contact my old PO for the federal government, Laura Ansart. I may have her number still, if it's still valid. I will put it in the text and go from there. It is yep, that's correct. But I don't know if that's still her PO number. I don't even know if she's still a PO.
When was the last time you talked to this person?
Years ago.
Well, no, I'll definitely keep it there. Fine. Then, like I said, I'll probably take some time to reach out to the last people who evaluated you and the whole competency classes you did and stuff, just to make sure I got all my ducks in a row. But all right, I think that's pretty much all the questions I got for you, Mr. Wheeler. Do you have any questions for me or anything important you feel like we haven't talked about?
No. You know, I'm looking for a stable job, but these pending charges, you know, no insurance, no company can hire me due to their insurance will not hire somebody who has pending felonies.
if they offered you a deal, like for probation or something, is that something you consider, or do you
No.
feel like you want to take this?
No,
trial?
no, dude. They've called me a blue-eyed nigger too much. They've said too. Fuck them, dude. Nuke them.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, just appreciate your time today. Thanks for, working with me in terms of rescheduling all this and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll try to do my best to get my side of things done as quickly as possible so that things move along for you.
Dude, this has been going on for so long. You could just take your time because that's what they keep doing. Honestly.
All right. Well, honestly, I'll probably remember that at least, just in case, because yeah, I get swamped sometimes. And I'll be like, well, Mr. Wheeler said he's doing okay. I'll get it done tomorrow. But no, I'll still try to get it done in a reasonable period of time. And you'll be, updated by the courts, I guess.
Thank you. You have a beautiful day. Happy New Year.
All right. Yeah, you too. Yeah, Happy New Year.
If you don't mind me asking, where are you located? Are you in Denver?
I'm not in Denver. I'm actually a contracted psychologist. I'm in Missouri.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm in a whole different state. Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I work. Yeah, but I'm contracted with the state. I got a lot of colleagues there. Because I'm just physically located out here.
All right, well, have a beautiful day in Missouri.
Thanks. I'll try. It's a little cold, but that's all good. See you, man.
Peace out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hanging up right now. Well, that was that, right? Hoorah, motherfuckers. Whoop whoop.